Greetings everyone, this is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. We're talking about the week of June 19th, 2023 this time, so hope everybody's had a good week since we last had a chance to talk about the night sky. We're going to focus this week on Leo, some galaxies in Leo. We've been circling back to Leo. The springtime here is time, the Leo-Virgo region of the sky. A great region of the sky to see external galaxies. So we've been trying to mix a few of those in as we've gone through spring 2023 here. We're getting close to losing this part of the sky as we transition to more of a summer sky. So we'll spend a little bit of time in here. We'll start. We've been watching Venus and Mars, right? We've been watching Venus and Mars. Venus has been closing on Mars. So Let's actually look at the bright stars of Leo first. Let's start there. Leo has this triangle tail with Dana is this star here. The bright star Regulus is down here. And then above Regulus, as you go up in the sickle shape, is Iota. And so Iota is a fainter star. We'll come back to that. But that's the bright pattern of Leo that looks like that, where you can loop up that direction. If you go from Dana to Chertan, the right star in the base of the triangle of the tail here, on over to Iota, then right on to Mars. Those things form a sort of a straight line across there. Bam. And so that's a great way to see Mars. Venus is just a little above there. Now Venus is the brightest object in this region of the sky. Mars is pretty bright. So as it gets dark, this is all evening sky stuff we're talking about this week. No after midnight, early morning kind of stuff this week. And as it gets dark, watch Venus and Mars start to appear. Venus will be the first thing you see glowing in the west. And so Venus will start the week about 5 degrees from Mars. By the end of the week, it'll be down to about 4 degrees from Mars. And it looks like it's closing on Mars, but as we talked about last week, Venus is turning around and headed back the other direction. It's going to go fast in retrograde motion as it pulls away from Mars. So Venus is going to stop this closing. We'll check in on it next week. But it's a great thing to spend the next week or two watching that gap, measuring that gap as best you can. Use your fingers, use a ruler, use a piece of string or something like that and sketch it on a piece of paper and see if you can measure the distance between Venus and Mars and watch that close down just a little bit. It'll be about 80%. At the end of the week, it'll be about 80% of what it was at the beginning of the week. So I think that was actually the 25th I looked up. I'm not sure why I said the 24th. So anyway, we go about a week, we're going to see that close about 80%, about 20% of that gap's going to go away. Not a lot, not dramatic, but enough to measure if you're paying attention. So this is something we want to pay attention to. Now early in the week, the moon is waxing, and it's a crescent moon this week. So this is less than half full and it's waxing. And so it starts the week, it's only about 13% full on the 21st. So that's not the very beginning of the week, that's the middle of the week, that's Wednesday for us. And so on the 21st, it'll be, you go Mars to Venus up there. The very pretty crescent moon will be in there. Definitely worth a photo, worth a sketch, worth going out to take a look at on the evening of the 21st. But the 22nd is just as good. The 22nd, the moon will have moved over this direction. It will be closing on the Iota star in Leo, and it'll be about 20% full. Still a really nice, beautiful, thin crescent moon, and it'll be sitting above and north of and to the east of Mars. So the moon will have transitioned here, will have filled out a little bit, and will still be making a nice sort of triangle with Venus, Mars, and the moon. So the 21st and the 22nd can't be beat. It's great to watch the moon slide through that region of the sky. By the end of the week, it'll have moved. The rest of the week it's going to move through Leo here. By later in the week, on the 24th, the moon will have filled out to about 37% full. So it's still noticeably less than half full. It's still a half full crescent moon, less than half full. And it will be sitting between two fainter stars of Leo, but not terribly faint stars of Leo. So let's look at some of these stars in Leo. So that's our goal. One goal for the week is to observe Venus and Mars and see if we can see that separation changing. The second goal is to watch the beautiful waxing crescent moon slide by that pair of planets. Our third goal we have so many goals for the week, right? It's like a full course, right? We set up the beginning of class, we set out what our learning goals are for the term, and we see if we can make progress toward those learning goals. goals, and this is what we're doing right here. It's just beautiful, right? It's great stuff we're doing. So our next learning, I've already forgotten what the learning goals are. I got so sidetracked right there. I don't remember what I was talking to you about. That happened. So it is. It's just exactly like what I teach a class. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I get a little too worked up and excited thinking about this. But anyway, one of our learning goals here, one of our goals for the week, observing goals for the week, then will be to learn some of the fainter stars of Leo. So we see Leo's this bright pattern of the triangle tail, Chertan, Danabola, and Regulus down here. And then we see this backward question mark, the sickle shape. We've already talked about Eta. So Regulus is a very bright star. Regulus has about a 1.4 magnitude, and Eta is a 3.5 magnitude. Remember, these count backwards, and it's a logarithmic scale. You get a factor of 2.5 for each step in brightness. So Eta is about 6.5 times fainter than Regulus. So Eta's it's visible, right? It's visible. You got a good dark sky, you got a clear sky, you got a transparent sky. You can see Eta, but it's not super bright. It's not like Regulus up here. And it's about 6 times fainter than Regulus. The thing about Eta is, remember, we like to stop and pause and think about why the stars look like they do on the sky. And the bright stars can be close to us, and the bright stars can also be luminous, generating a lot of light that they're transmitting out into space. So you take a luminous star and you put it further away and it looks fainter. You take a fainter star and you put it really close and it looks brighter. We're accustomed to that effect, right? You watch headlights coming at you and they get brighter and brighter as they get closer and closer. You see all of that stuff. But Eta is a really luminous star. If you took Eta and you brought it in here to where Regulus is, Eta would be a full magnitude brighter than Sirius, the brightest star in the sky. So think about that as you find Eta. Just a fun thing. We're having fun thinking about what the stars are and where they are and what they're doing. So identify Eta, pay attention to Eta. Think about if you brought it into where Regulus is, how much brighter. It's about 6.5 times fainter than Regulus right now. What would that be? Minus 2.5 if you brought it into the distance of Regulus. So it would be somewhere on the order of 4 magnitudes. 5 magnitudes is a factor of 100. So it would be, 30, 40, 50 times brighter than Regulus if you brought it into the distance of where Regulus is now. Super. By the end of the week, we said by the 24th, the moon is 37% full, and it sits right squarely between Iota and Sigma Leonis. These are both 4th magnitude stars. So a little bit fainter than Eta, but still visible. Getting on the edge of where most of us who have marginal skies, where most of us can actually see that without some kind of optical aid like binoculars or something like that. But it sits right here, so the moon will be passing between these two stars. Great opportunity to make sure we can identify Iota and Sigma, these fainter stars in Leo. Now, as we said earlier, our last observing goal for the week. So we've learned some fainter stars in Leo as one of our observing goals for the week. Our last observing goal for the week is to identify, see if we can locate more galaxies. This region is rich in galaxies. We've said this before many times. I've drawn this sky view schematic of our galaxy. We look up out of the disk of the galaxy through the thin part of the disk. We can see distant galaxies in space way the heck out there. And that's what we're doing when we're looking in the Virgo-Leo region of the sky, is we're seeing galaxies way the heck out there. We can see way out into space. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Chertan, the bottom right star in the triangle of Leo, and we're going to slide down this direction, and we're going to find Rho, another 3.8 magnitude star. So about as bright as Eta and Sigma and Iota. It sits between Eta and Sigma and Iota in brightness. Definitely visible, and it's going to be, 2/3 to 3/4 of the way from Iota over to Regulus here. So we're going to see if we can identify Rho, another faint star. So we've added that to our list of lesser known stars in Leo that we want to learn this week. But on that line, as we get down there, a little more than halfway down that line, and just barely off to the west of that line that connects Chertan to Rho. So we slide down there. We're going to come to this group. M96 is a spiral galaxy that's just off that line. M95 lies just to the west, and M105 lies just to the north of that group. M105, spiral galaxy, elliptical galaxy. We've talked about these before. Spiral galaxies have a shape kind of like this. You look at them from the top or the bottom, whatever that means. And you see these spiral arms out there. Spiral galaxies make stars in their disks. So the disks of spiral galaxies are star-forming regions because there's lots of free dust and gas. Elliptical galaxies, generally bigger than spiral galaxies. There are dwarf elliptical galaxies that are a lot smaller, but the ones we see are bigger. No free dust and gas, or very little star formation going on. And they look more like just a continuous blob like that on the sky. So see if you can find these three stars. It's less than a degree, 3/4 of a degree from M95 to M96, 3/4 of a degree from M96 to M105, a little more than a degree from M105 to M95 in that little triangle of galaxies that we see right there. If you've got a really nice, big, wide field of view ocular on a telescope, a small backyard telescope, you might be able to get all three of those in the same field of view. You might be able to get any two of them as you're looking at this. And so it's a fun target. If you've got a small telescope and you're looking for something to try to find, we've looked at M65 and M66, other galaxies over this way. We looked at some galaxies in Virgo earlier this spring. Maybe this is probably the last time we'll be looking at galaxies in this region. Maybe not, but probably. Until next year anyway. So let's close out the spring galaxy observing season to see if we can find M95, M96, and M105. And that's what we got. We got Venus still closing on Mars, the moon sliding past that region of the sky this week, the moon moving on over to Iota and Sigma. So we're going to find Iota, Sigma, Rho, and Eta Leonis and learn those stars, add them to our friends in the night sky, and then we're going to see if we can find spiral galaxies M96 and M95 and elliptical galaxy M105. I hope that you have good skies, good clear skies, and a good week ahead. And as always, thanks for watching, everybody.